Greetings YouTube surfers, welcome to Double Clutch Auto Reviews. My name is Mark and today I would love to show you my new ride, my 2009 Ford Fusion SEL all-wheel drive. This is my new car that I just inherited from my grandmother after she purchased a brand new 2019 Audi A5, which I will later be reviewing for you guys. But for today I'd like to talk about why I like this car so much and I think it's worth keeping around even after 10 years. So let's check it out. As I said before, this is my 2009 Ford Fusion SEL all-wheel drive with a 6-speed automatic transmission with overdrive and a V6 3.0 liter engine making 221 horsepower and 205 pound-feet of torque. And believe it or not, the lower trims of this model Fusion, like the S and SE, that come with a 4-cylinder, you can get with a 5-speed manual transmission. How cool is that? I never thought a car like this sold in America would come with a manual transmission, but I think that's a pretty cool fun fact. My grandmother purchased this car back in 2009 brand new for just over $35,000. And even then, and especially now, I think it is a great bang for your buck value family sedan. This car has great power and handling for what you would expect, and also has a very comfortable and classy looking interior with lots of passenger room. I feel like the exterior and the interior design styling of this car have aged very well. It doesn't at all look cheap. There are soft materials and nice leather throughout the interior, making it feel much more expensive than it actually is. The trunk has cargo space. Certainly won't compete with any SUV, but it's enough to fit a few large bags of luggage. It also gets decent gas mileage, not terrible, but also not the best. It's around 20 to 23 average miles per gallon, about 18 in the city and about 26 on the highway. One of my favorite aspects about this car is its paint job. This beautiful white metallic pearl. It's a metallic white with a tri-coat pearl finish. I feel like this gleaming beautiful color really makes this car stand out amongst any other white that I've ever seen on a vehicle today. When this car is all cleaned up and detailed, as you can tell, it really shines. The only drawback to having a pearl finish is that the tri-coat cannot be touched up very easily. So if you unfortunately get a nick and you have to use touch-up paint, it won't ever quite look exactly right because you have to repaint the whole piece to make it exactly perfect with the tri-coat finish. Moving on to the interior, I feel like Ford did a great job of making the interior very pleasing to look at without using extremely expensive materials that would have overall increased the price of the car. The styling is much more elegant than you would expect from a Ford Fusion. The buttons on the steering wheel and the center control stack are very ergonomic and user-friendly. Everything is simple, easy to use. Now, some of my favorite interior design aspects are the two-tone gray and tan dashboard with gray on the top and tan on the bottom, as well as the analog clock finished in chrome at the top of the control stack. I don't see many automakers still doing this these days, and to me it makes this interior much more timeless with its design. It has comfortable leather seats and heated seats up front with dual-zone climate control. I also have a power sunroof as well as ambient floor lighting. It ranges with many different colors, and to change it, very simple, just push this button right next to the gear lever. I have a 2-compartment center console with the bottom one having an aux jack, a USB port, and a 12-volt outlet. Also has a neat little storage compartment on the top of the dash. You can put documents, whatever you need. Moving on to the back, there's nothing particularly exciting going on back here. Just note that rear seat passengers have a considerable amount of legroom, as well as a center armrest with 2 cup holders. All right, we'll start it up now. All right, now jumping behind the wheel of my 2009 Ford Fusion SEL all-wheel drive. I'd like to talk about the engine and powertrain first. The engine has a much more pleasant sound to it than you would expect, and it's actually a lot faster than you would think. I know it only has 221 horsepower and 205 pound-feet of torque, but it feels like it actually has more than that. It drops down gears and accelerates strong, which makes for easy passing on the highway. When my grandmother purchased this car, she certainly wasn't buying it for its performance aspects. However, it actually has very smooth power delivery, good acceleration, and sharp and predictable handling. Looking at this car, you wouldn't expect to perform as well as it does. Not only is the performance satisfactory, but also its comfort and daily drivability. A huge reason why I believe that this car has aged very well. Not only has it been very well taken care of by my grandmother and I, it's always been garaged, which I know helped preserve this beautiful white paint. It also has never been abused, and after 10 years, it only has about 65,000 miles. Also, the fact that Ford didn't put a large screen in the center control stack that would have looked extremely outdated by now, 10 years later. It certainly helped preserve the appearance of this interior over time, and to me is the reason why it still looks clean and classy looking. My family and I all agree that this car is one of the best vehicles that my grandparents have purchased brand new. Not necessarily because it's the fastest or it has the most features or it's even the most comfortable and luxurious, but because it really has no hang-ups or drawbacks. The car is very user-friendly, very easy to drive, it has good performance, and it's comfortable and luxurious. It does everything decently well. It has all the features that you really need without overwhelming you with technology. It doesn't have a vast amount of electronics that are bound to break. For instance, with my grandfather's current vehicle, the 2015 Ford Edge, there's a lot of things about it that we can clearly say off the top of our heads that we do not like about it. In my opinion, the worst thing about it is its oversensitive electronically assisted power steering. If you have one hand on the wheel as such, and you go over a bad bump, the whole car ends up doing one of these after the bump, which makes for a very uncomfortable ride if you're going on a bumpy road. For my grandmother, it's the oversensitive brakes. I particularly like the confidence of very, very grippy brakes. However, my grandfather accidentally hits it too hard and really jams on it, and not to mention the very annoying startup / warning noise that Ford has in all their new vehicles today. With this car, there's really nothing that I can think of that I really don't like about it. The only thing I could say is I wish it had more power, but I could say that about anything. Except for only one thing that I have to complain about with this vehicle. The USB jack in the center console doesn't seem to work well with the phone when you want to play music. I could never seem to get it to work properly. I think I only got it to work one time. So when I want to play music, I have to use an aux cable. Definitely not a deal breaker, but just something to note. It's a minor thing that annoys me. Turning radius isn't the best, however. Notorious for all-wheel drive vehicles. But other than that, this vehicle is really solid. Nothing else really to complain about. And this vehicle has almost 65,000 miles on it and is really needed next to nothing as far as mechanical work is concerned. The only really expensive component that my grandmother had to replace was the ABS sensor, but other than that, it's only needed routine maintenance. Oil changes, tire rotations, and I think one brake job. And that's about it. It's been extremely reliable for us. There's really not much more you can ask for than that. The ride quality is also exceptional for what you would expect from a Ford. This car was built in the time period when Ford and Volvo collaborated on making many vehicles, including this one, and I think that this model got the best of both worlds. It really did. It has Ford's engine simplicity and reliability with Volvo's interior comfort, suspension, and handling. To be honest, if I didn't think this was such a great vehicle, I would have sold it eons ago and bought a 6-speed, sportier vehicle. This car happens to be so reliable, comfortable, and practical that I just can't see myself selling it right now. And not to mention, it is also in pristine condition inside and out. This car has treated my family and I very well over the past 10 years. I think it would be a sin to get rid of it now, so I'll plan on keeping it for another few years and enjoying it. If you don't have the need to carry around a large amount of stuff for a large amount of people, and you just want a reliable, comfortable, and well-performing vehicle, this is it. That also won't break the bank. This car is worth about $14,000 right now, and in this condition, I think it will still hold its value very well. But considering what you're getting for this car, it's a great value. This car does have a 6 CD changer. I know not many people have CDs anymore and use them regularly, but I'm sure that would appeal to some people that still do. And the sound system in here is also pretty good as well. You could use a subwoofer in my opinion, but as far as factory speakers goes, the sound quality is quite good. It's good strong bass. For the average person, they would suffice quite nicely. This car is also equipped with a rear parking aid that beeps at you when you get close to something, which is always handy to have, and I think very high tech for 2009. There is a little digital screen in the dash, but it doesn't really overwhelm you with any useless information, just the stuff that you would really need. That's a built-in compass, 2 tripometers, 2 stopwatches, miles till empty, your average miles per gallon, and your average speed. And you can cycle them through with just pushing this info button right here. It also has a thermometer reading outside temperature, which is nice to have at times. And to turn the traction control off, just push a button right there. All right, let's open her up a bit. Yeah, woo, coming in hot. I love this road. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you like my video, please give me a like. If you liked it even more, please give me a subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.